So let's dig into it with our directors. The first show in our season is the Laramie Project, which is being directed by one of our 2 resident directors, Mr. Robert New. His most recent productions at Lyric Arts have been Death of a Salesman and Becky's New Car. But he also directed Leading Ladies, Sound of Music, Oliver, and one of my personal favorites, Almost Maine. Here he is, Mr. Robert New.
It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Lyric Arts in its season, as you know, is a wonderful, fun place. I, however, for this first show, I'm going to talk a little more seriously with you. And I actually wrote down my comments this time because this play has deep meaning for me, and I wanted to really kind of say what I meant to say. It's not long. But the Laramie Project, on October 6th in 1998, a 21-year-old University of Wyoming student named Matthew Shepard was tied to a fence outside of Laramie, Wyoming, and he was tortured and beaten and abandoned. He was found the next day, and he died 5 days later without ever regaining consciousness. Matthew was tortured, beaten, and abandoned because he was gay. This is not a supposition, it's not an inference. One of his 2 killers admitted to this while he was being questioned by the police. A year later, a company out of New York called the Tectonic Theater Company traveled to Laramie to discuss the aftermath of this tragedy with Matthew's friends, his teachers at the university, and fellow citizens, and also with the assailants. And then from these encounters, the company fashioned a play that is completely unique. It's very provocative. I think it's extremely moving. I think it's important to tell you that at no time during the Laramie Project, it doesn't focus on Matthew Shepard. You never meet Matthew. You never see the terrible act. This is a play constructed out of verbatim quotes by the community, and it's very much talks about how a community reacts to this kind of tragedy in what was formerly a very peaceful, laid-back kind of place, and the fact that 2 of their own, as they talk about, committed this terrible crime and the reasons for it in actually a very liberal environment. Surprisingly, Laramie, Wyoming, we wouldn't think that, but it is. And it talks about it from that perspective. Now, what I find particularly interesting as a director is that there are 60 characters in the play, played by 12 actors. So that's going to be a real interesting thing to put together, but it's going to be wonderfully challenging, and you can tell from this that it's a very, very theatrical play. Don't think that you're going to sit there and hear 12 people just talk at you. It's highly theatrical. I want to thank Lyric Arts for programming this piece. I think we know that Anoka, and particularly the public schools here, have not been strangers to some highly publicized situations of bullying, of some gay bashing, and this is the 15th anniversary of Matthew's death. So I really thank you for doing this piece, and I think it's time this statement is made here. Now, I know that many of you who know me, and that's almost everybody in the room I see, usually think of me as someone a little more amusing and lighthearted, and I promise you that hasn't gone away. And this play, like all great works of art, is not completely without humor. Believe it or not, it's just a brilliant, brilliant piece. But I wanted to kind of start with this tone for this show, because I think having the opportunity to honor the legacy of Matthew Shepard, which has just become such an important part of our country, and all the sort of civil laws that have now been passed preventing bullying, it just requires us to kind of be serious for a bit. Now, I'm back in a little bit with Godspell, and I promise to be wacky, but I do hope that you will come and see this play. I know what I just told you sounds like a real downer, and it sounds depressing, but it's a serious subject, and art not only reflects the fun times we have in life, but it reflects our current society, and it reflects how we deal with life and with the tribulations it brings. So please come and embrace this play. I really do promise you that you will be moved by it. So thank you very much.